You're listening to the Geriatric Mamas podcast with Jessica Raziri
and Sonia Tapley. I'm wearing Annabelle's lip balm. No, it's lip gloss. She's got Hello Kitty.
Oh,
Hello Kitty. The cream shop. I don't know where we got it from, but she needed it.
The very prestigious designer.
Maybe I was looking for my lip gloss, which has grown feet and walked away. But hers, it could be aggressive though, because you kind of have to just like put a dot on and then spread it out and blend it.
I love how they made a child's lip gloss aggressive.
It's so aggressive.
I love it. All right. Do the finger tap, the influencer tap.
The millennial influencer. Actually, it's everybody, not just millennial.
Yeah, I don't understand the finger tapping. It drives me insane. I don't understand why that became a thing.
And then people literally have to get their nails done to do their YouTube videos. And then they're like, they have like their long coffin nails and they're like.
I want to see somebody finger tap a hot dog. Like,
ooh, I would know,
like showing like a different like hot dog that they just like they just made it. Like, look, I just fresh from the grill. And they just start like tapping the wiener. Sorry.
Doesn't it look like 4th of July? But you won't hear it. You won't hear it. You get mustard all up in those nails.
Gross.
I know.
Gross.
I just had a nap. I just like woke up from the first nap I've had since, well, I don't even know the last nap I had.
You had a nap? I can't remember the last time I had a nap.
I know. I feel refreshed. When I woke up, I was like, what did I just do? I have to record. I wasn't sure if I was going to be okay. I needed to get my steps in, and after Annabelle had her doctor's appointment today, she was like, can we go to Funtown and get ice cream, because they have Dippin' Dots ice cream, and that's new for her. It's very new. And so I was like, sure, because I'm thinking I can get my steps in.
Yeah.
And she can have her ice cream. She went on like the kiddie rides and had an ice cream, and I would try to get as many steps in as I could, but I only hit like 5,000 before we left. I'm like, this is unacceptable. But it was so hot that it kind of just made me tired.
Yeah.
And we didn't go in any water or anything. And so we got home and I was like, listen, lady, you need to lay down and rest because you and daddy are going to do something fun while Auntie Jess and I record. And I need you to like be happy for that. And so instead of her taking a nap,
you're like, I'm going to take a nap.
Yeah.
Like, it's nap time. She's like, no. And you're like, it's for me.
I got her water. I covered her up with her blanket. I put her little quiet time TV show on, and then I passed out. I wake up to her giving me kisses on the nose. And then she puts her blanket on me, and she's like, Mommy, aren't these kittens cute? I want you to watch them with me, because she likes to watch like little baby kittens on TV. And I'm like...
I thought of when you mentioned that it was hot in the sun. Did you see it's trending all over? It's not funny, Jessica. It's not funny, Jessica. It's a little funny. They'll laugh about it one day. The girl that, I don't know. Okay, I haven't done my research. I don't know if it was, are we allowed to say fat camp? Is it big girl camp? I don't know what it's called. There was a group of little larger women.
We're not going to get canceled today.
Went up on a mountain on this hike. This bitch had to be airlifted
off the
mountain.
Yeah.
After she had only gone like 2 miles, and she all of a sudden had extreme heat exhaustion. So at first when they were like, oh, this girl had to be airlifted off the mountain, extreme heat exhaustion. And I'm like, oh my God, like poor thing. And then they showed her. I'm like, who put her on this mountain? Like who?
I mean,
like
good for her.
But then you look at like all of her friends, it was kind of like a same situation. So it makes me wonder, like,
did they all just fly down with her?
No, they were, it was just one helicopter, and you just see them airlifting. So there's more to this. So apparently, like, as she was going up this mountain, and mind you, I'm just getting little bits and pieces from Instagram. I haven't fact checked any of this.
She's reading the headlines.
I'm literally living in the headlines with this story. But apparently she, I guess, got extreme, I don't know if it was like dehydration or what, but apparently she had like diarrhea also. Oh. She got hit with diarrhea, and her friends had wet wipes. And so like she's blasting off on the side of this mountain, and her friend is giving her all these wet wipes to clean herself.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has like extreme heat exhaustion. She can't go any further. She can't go up. She can't go down. She can't do anything. So they had to call in the paramedics to come and airlift her. You can't just leave. They're part of a big tour group or whatever. They can't just leave those wet wipes there.
Oh,
so her
no.
friend,
Are you serious? Oh, no,
friends had to collect
How
diarrhea wet wipes.
No.
And there's no trash. So they, I guess, had to put them in a bag and then put them in their backpack and carry around these diarrhea wet wipes. That's a detail.
This woman is so high maintenance. She's so high maintenance. Did she have her nails done? Did she have a nitro coffee? Was the nitro coffee
So then
extra cream?
it gets better. It gets better. So the bitch is airlifted off the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Then she's hit with a $70,000 bill. To which they're all saying that all the friends are going to be responsible for because, like, I don't know if they all agreed to help her with this bill because she can't afford it, or if it's just saying that they're all going to be hit with the bill because they're the ones that, like, forced her to go on this hike.
I'm so confused. Why $70,000? Is it because she had to go on a helicopter?
I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it's because of maybe where they were, and it wasn't because it was literally like emergency situation. They had to like lower paramedics down, make sure she was okay, hook her up to the shit, and then pull her up. They literally lifted her up off the mountain. Like, you have a helicopter, you have the long stringy thingy, it's tied to this larger woman, and she's literally airlifted up. And
like,
just
you know how
away with her.
So we were just talking the other day, you and me, about like when we go shopping at TJ Maxx and like where else?
Hobby Lobby, HomeGoods, any of those.
Yeah, it's like an instant release. And all the women are just running for the bathroom.
I swear they pumped something in the air. I swear.
I can't say that I don't feel that way about like hiking. Also nitro coffee. So I wonder if
hiking makes you do that.
Yeah, I feel like it does. And also, like, nitro coffee really gets me. I wonder if she went and ordered one, because that's, like, the rage right now.
I don't know that people go out of their way, though, to order nitro coffee before going on something like that.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past her. She's clearly very high maintenance. She needed a helicopter ride down the mountain.
How embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at this group of women, like, first of all, good for them. I am not trying to shame or anything. Like, good for them. Yes, like, you got to start somewhere. Awesome, right? Like, they're doing more than I freaking am these days. So, like, awesome. However, know your fucking limits.
Are we climbing a mountain?
Are we climbing a mountain right now? Or maybe we're just going to go for a little walk around the block. Let's start somewhere. I don't know that we're instantly going to start climbing a mountain. I don't know that that was the best choice. You know what I mean? So it's just like, who told these women that that's what needed to happen?
The message today, I feel like amongst literally every generation has adopted this is do what you want to do. If you feel like you're going to climb a mountain, climb a mountain.
Okay, but do what you want to do. But when you do that, like, understand that your choice is going to, it could affect others. Like, her choice to climb a mountain resulted in blasting off on this, like,
and friends carrying down the evidence
on the side of the mountain and making your friends responsible for your fecal matter.
Yeah.
And then having a $70,000 bill.
Why were they going to be charged $70,000? Is it the airplane? Because I know ambulance rides are expensive.
I don't know. Maybe she doesn't have insurance. So maybe it's like, because it's emergency already like increases. And then the helicopter, like you said, an ambulance is expensive. So a helicopter ride, I imagine, is like double that, triple that probably.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Like, you think of all of the accidents people have where they have to be airlifted.
Yeah.
And you just see the helicopters going by. And They're paying $70,000 to be airlifted.
Well, not if they have insurance.
Well,
I bet,
that's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Is that covered under insurance?
I don't know.
$70,000 for an
I have
airlift.
no idea. Did you see there's this one video that I literally die in hysterics every single time. It's so horrible. But it's somebody's grandma had to be airlifted, and I don't know if she like fell and hurt herself or what happened, but they had her on a stretcher. Oh, she already didn't want to be airlifted because she was extremely sorry,
Stop.
it's just so bad. She's extremely afraid of heights.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she had diarrhea too.
No, she's extremely afraid of heights, and she did not want to be airlifted. They assured her it was just going to be a quick little ride. It's going to be okay. They go to airlift her, and then something happened with the cords, and she starts spinning, and it's her whole stretcher is just in the air spinning so fast, and it's like it goes on for like what feels like 45 minutes. I don't know how long it is, but it's like so fast.
Yeah.
For a minute there, I was like, is she spinning with the propeller? Like, why is it going that? It was literally like just goes, and it just goes
seen
on.
That happen. It looks so scary.
Yeah, and it shows her just like going up high, and I don't know if they're in like a desert or what, and it just like goes over. Like they just like take off with her, and she's just spinning the whole time.
Were they trying to make her stop spin? Because like
I feel like they were probably
like
trying, but they couldn't, and it just would not stop.
Right, so they're like, we're gonna just do what we can. We're gonna fly you
So
to
they
where
just like quickly took off and got her to where she needed to be. So she just like is like, oh, don't worry about this, Meemaw. It'll be a quick little trip. You'll be fine.
You would see me hurling. I would be having diarrhea all over. It would be like spraying across the desert.
Is Annabelle all ready for school?
I mean, not really, no, but we signed her up for a last minute sports camp because all of her friends were doing it. And it's really funny because she doesn't have, like in the summertime, she basically just wears sandals or rain boots depending on the weather.
Right.
If it's hot, it's too hot to wear sneakers. I don't even like wearing sneakers on hot days, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we kind of just like neglected the sneaker situation and then realized that for soccer camp, she was probably going to need sneakers, and then soccer sold out and all they had left was softball, but she was still going to have friends in camp. And so we're like, okay, we need to just either way get her some sneakers that fit for sports. Like I don't want nice sneakers getting like ruined. So we have to find specific kinds of shoes. We ended up finding some sneakers, a Foot Locker. I don't remember the name of the store, but all the name brand shoes were sold out in her size, and we had to have everything within 2 days. So I ended up finding a pair of sneakers that we compromised on at Target, and luckily she only has to wear them for 4 days and then she's done with them. But school, Annabelle's list of things she needs for kindergarten is so small. And I was talking to one of the other moms for the class that she's in, and I was showing her the list and how small it is, and she's like, yeah, but scroll up to the top because there's something that all the students and all the ages need. And the only thing it was really sneakers. And so I was like, ooh. And then I got the sneakers you got for Annabelle for her birthday. And I put them up to her feet. And I was like, these are going to be perfect for the first day of school. The best sneakers.
Are they like big right now?
They're a little bit. Like she has, I don't know, like what is this? Like a half an inch? Like a half an inch left to go. Socks, there are socks.
I actually need to give this vendor a shout out where I got these sneakers that Sonia is talking about. So I had them custom made on Etsy. It's by this shop called, I think it's Love Majoey Kids. It's LOVEMAJOIEKIDS. So like Love Majoey Kids, I think.
Yeah.
But she was super communicative. I think they're based out in New Jersey. So they I had them sent to my parents' house for Annabelle's birthday. So they got there like super fast. But they're so cute. They kind of look like old school Converse with a star on the side, and they're like a cream color. They have like a gold sparkly star. There's pink sparkle on the toes, and then there's like beads and different charms and stuff you can choose. You can choose different like color palettes and like different like laces and stuff, and so everything is customizable, and you could put like a personalization of their name or their initials out of beads. And since Annabelle is a very long name, that wouldn't fit on it, so I just did her initials. But it was funny because Annabelle, I know that she loves rainbows, and so that was a thing that I was looking for. And so these sneakers showed up because there was these little charms, and one of the charms was a rainbow. Well, then I go to purchase them, and it said that the rainbow was out of stock. And I was like, no. And I was bummed because that was like the whole reason that's what drew me to this particular pair of sneakers. So then, but the sneakers itself were still really cute, so I didn't want to give up on them. So then I was like, started looking into trying to find like another rainbow charm that I could add myself. And then something within me was just like, reach out to this vendor, just see if there's something she can do. So I did. I sent her a message, and I was just like, hey, do you happen to have any of these charms? It was the whole reason. Like, I'm there for a little girl that's obsessed with rainbows. Like, she'd be so happy. And she's like, actually, I meant to update the site. I did just get a bunch of charms in, and then she sent me like a special link for it. And so it was just perfect. So she was super
customized. Yeah,
they were so fun. They were so cute. They were even cuter in person. I love them so much. So
they're gonna be so perfect. Now I need to find an outfit to go with them for first day of school, because I want to take a picture, like, you know, with the building behind her, and, like, a little sign.
I was thinking like little pink overalls, like little overall shorts, or like, you know, could be like super cute, or like some kind of like overall. I don't know. I was just like, I was originally trying to find that for her to go like a whole like outfit, but I got a list from Hayden's school, and I don't know if it's because it's Montessori or what, but what the fuck, like it's just like I need to get clarity on what exactly, because the more I look at the list, so when I first looked at the list, I was super overwhelmed because I thought there was just so much. But then when I looked at it again, I realized that they broke it off into like toddlers, preschoolers, like grade school, whatever. But it's confusing because for the toddler ones, they show photos. And so I'm like, are these staple items that they all need? And then plus whatever your grade is, or like, I don't know. Yeah. And then there's some things in the toddler ones that I feel like he would need.
Right.
But it's also confusing because the grade that he's in, because it's Montessori, they put older kids with younger kids. So he could be in the toddler room, but he'd be on the older end of the kids in the toddler room because the cutoff is 3. So he's definitely going to be young for his class. So I think his class goes from 3 to 6 year olds basically, or what are going to be in the classroom. But there were things on there like a potted plant.
Yeah. So
and you can't have backpacks. It has to be a tote. The tote has to fit in the cubby. And you'd have rubber shoes, not Crocs. It says rubber shoes, and it distinctly said not Crocs style. Mud boots. Nothing can have characters or cartoon motifs. I'm like, does that include dinosaur print? Because that's a cartoon / character.
Right.
But I think they mean like TV cartoons, and I think dino is considered like a print and like a neutral design. So I think it's okay. I don't know. I hope it's okay.
Yeah, because I think Disney, when you say character motifs,
his lunchbox needs to have a strap, like an over-the-shoulder strap. Yeah,
I've seen a lot of those lately, but I only saw them because you told me about this. I would not have noticed them if it wasn't for that.
Well, I went out and had to buy him a new lunchbox because the one that I had for him doesn't have a freaking strap.
Yeah.
And then nothing can be individually wrapped. Well, it can if he's able to open it himself. So they advise doing like different snack containers that they can open themselves. Because the whole idea of Montessori is they do things themselves. So like the lunchbox, I think, is because it's easier to carry maybe. So it's around the shoulder when they go to the lunchroom. And then like the snack pack, so that way he, like all his stuff, because the teachers aren't going to run around opening up all the things for all the students. Like they need to be able to open their own stuff. So
how crazy. It's like he's 3.5.
But I'm like, I have questions. Like, listen, first of all, he's young. This isn't like real school, right? Like it's preschool. I don't know. I guess it is real school. You know what I mean? it's preschool, but like, let's not forget here, he's still a friggin' toddler.
Right.
And he is potty trained. Hooray. But I mean, let's be honest here. He's not the best wiper. And I don't know what 3-year-old is.
Right.
So like, when they say potty independent, does that mean that they're just going to let my child run off with dingleberries? Is anybody going to be there to help the situation?
Yeah.
Like, what is happening?
Right.
You know, like,
I mean, Annabelle knows how to do all of this, but I still like to be there and double check and make sure, because I feel like these things are important. It's like part of hygiene. It's just hygiene for a child.
Right.
Maybe I'm babying her, but I get it. I get what you're saying.
No, but it's like, so I don't know. It's just like all those things. And it's like knowing that there's going to be older kids in the classroom. Like, I don't want him like coming out of the bathroom with his pants down. Is somebody going to wipe my ass? You know what I mean? Like, I don't like, those are things that I'm worried about. I'm just like, you know, I'm just like, this is what keeps me up at night.
I have to hope that at the end of the day, everyone's human and like they understand children and the age group, and that, you know, we have to just like keep the age truly in mind, because there's no one that's going to be perfect at age 3.5 to 4 as far as that goes. And there's like different things that they do. Everybody has their thing.
Moving on from all of that, because I feel like we could talk about that all day, because we definitely have feels about it. I've been sending you some reels over the past couple of weeks, and I wanted to bring this up when it first came out, but I didn't know nearly enough about it, and I'm so glad I waited.
It was just coming out last week.
I fell down, well, it came out the week before, but I fell down like a huge rabbit hole with this case. It's the case where the 16 kids were found in that Ohio home with the Siders family. Oh my God. Have you looked into it?
I have. I'm still unclear about exactly why it was happening. Like, I know what was happening, but I still don't know why.
And they're still trying to figure that out. So I think it was on June 29th. The police they went to the Siders' home. They were investigating they didn't even go there because of the kid.
Yeah, there was a indecent exposure on the dad of the kids.
Yes, the father was exposing himself. I don't know if he was urinating in public, jacking off, who the fuck knows, gross.
Right, yeah.
So the police went to the Siders' house to to investigate it and talk to him about it. And when they got there, I don't know if they heard or they saw, but they found a bunch of kids. They were like chained up, muzzled, tape over their mouths, restrained, covered in fecal matter. There was like just gross. They were all confined to a 12 by 12 bedroom. In this house, I've seen photos of it. It's like a hoarders situation. Like, if you ever watch Extreme Hoarders, it is a legit hoarding situation. And these kids were just living in filth. Yeah. And the kids range from 18 months old to 18 years old. Yeah. The mayor or the deputy in chief or whatever described the situation as livestock lives in better conditions than what these children have been living in. They describe these children as being feral. The 18-year-old, which it's recently come out that there's some mental handicaps there, but she can't even write her own name. But a lot of the kids can't write their own names. Right. A lot of them can't even speak. They were just pissing and shitting all over the place. 4 adults were immediately arrested. You have Elizabeth Sider, who's the mother. And then you have the father. Was it Gary Sider? Is that his name?
Gary Sider Jr.
Gary Sider Jr. And then you have his parents.
So Gary Sider Sr. and then Christina Siders is his mom.
Yes. Yeah. And so they were all immediately arrested. They were interviewing, and like upon further investigation, they started interviewing the neighbors. None of the neighbors even knew of children, which means like none of the kids were outside.
They were never out.
Like, let me tell you, I have one 3-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every single person in this apartment complex is fully aware that I have a child.
Yeah, for sure.
How the fuck were they keeping 16 kids quiet?
Yeah.
I mean, I know how.
Well, clearly they were, I guess, according to what you said, they were like
They
taping
were
their mouth
abusing them. They were beating. They were abusing them. They were probably sedating them. They were all severely malnourished.
Mm-hmm.
The police said that if they had just waited hours, like another hour, then they would be finding bodies instead of live children.
Yeah, because there are kids in critical condition.
Critical condition. Like some kids were, I think 1 or 2 had to be airlifted. There were some in ICU. All of them needed medical care. Every single one of them needed medical care. Some of them were. We haven't received an update on the kids yet, but I think the last update we received so far, they were all going to be okay. But I mean, they have a long road ahead of them. Apparently, Elizabeth and Gary Sider, the parents, were frequent visitors to the Dollar General. The dollar, they would close at
grocery
8.
store.
They would close at 8, and they would show up at 7:45, and they would purchase vegetable oil
and water,
butter, and
a gallon of water.
And so apparently vegetable oil is a really calorie dense food item.
It prevents you from starving to death. Yeah,
so it prevents people, so you can add it to food and stuff to basically stretch calories. And so the suspicion is that that's what it was being used for. It was to keep the children just alive enough to keep them going. Yeah. But not really to actually feed them.
It's so sad.
Yeah. So when you look at the photos from when the Siders were all arrested, first of all, if you look them up, they are some scary motherfuckers. Like, it looks like some inbreeding situation. It's like hills have eyes. It's scary. But if you look at Elizabeth Sider, so something that a lot of like the online community on like Insta and stuff are calling out, and I kind of thought this too. Elizabeth Siders was 15 years old. Her parents signed off on her to get married to Gary Sider when she was only 15 years old. Yeah. Apparently, before having all of these children, like in addition to having all these children, there was a set of twins that she had as well that didn't make it. They were conjoined twins.
Like with Gary Sider?
Yes. Yeah. So the suspicion is that Elizabeth too started off as a victim.
Yeah, and she's had a child every year since they were married.
Every single year. And it takes a good year for a woman's body to replenish nutrients. Yeah. She needs that year to nourish her own body. And then if you want to have another child, you need at least a year to prepare the womb so it has enough nutrients to provide for the other child. Yeah. She was literally being bred every single year. Yeah. To have a child. That is not, there was not nearly enough nutrients for herself or her kids. But if you look at the photos and the videos of the Siders all getting arrested, Elizabeth will walk in with her head down and like looks very timid and almost scared to speak. And every time she does speak, in the beginning, she would look at Gary or look at her mother-in-law, almost for like, and this is just speculation, but it's almost like for approval. There was one video where they had like separate chairs where they first brought them in to like do the whole intake of like change them into the orange jumpsuit and everything. And it shows Gary look over Elizabeth. And he goes, he's like, I love you, like that. And it's not, I didn't take it as like, oh, a sweet moment. I took it as a control tactic. Yeah. I took it as he's looking at her like, I love you, remember, like, keep your mouth shut, don't fucking say shit. Yeah. Is how I'm kind of taking it. That was my first immediate thought. And we don't know anything, we're just speculating. But something that's also interesting that Elizabeth's attorney also is saying is that apparently a lot of people have been sending Elizabeth care packages because there's a lot of people that immediately are like, she too started off as a victim, and they're thinking that the Siders were using her children as weapons to her, and basically made what if she was being there? You can also see bruising on her wrist to show constraints. What if she was also being tied up? What if she was just being a sex slave, you know, and you couldn't get to her children? We don't know. We don't know what was going on in that house.
Doesn't she look super skinny too? Because all the kids were super skinny.
She looked super skinny and like really malnourished and like not good. They showed before and after.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
The rest of the family doesn't look that skinny. Like they're skinny, but they're not that
They're
skinny.
not missing meals.
Right.
They are not missing meals.
The cashier from the Dollar General said that the mom, like she saw a couple of the teenagers, but she didn't see any of the other kids. And she said that when she saw the teenagers, she thought that they were just visiting. Like they weren't actually living with them. So that's why she wasn't concerned. But she said that the mom looked extremely pale, extremely skinny, and like just as bad as the kids. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she was just basically being treated the same as the kid.
So a lot of people that are speculating that she was also a victim have been sending her care packages. And apparently every time her attorney goes to bring them to her, she immediately turns them away without even opening them. And she says, please just give them to my children. Just give them to my children. So all the care packages that she's been getting, she's just like, give them to my children. So it's like, is this too little too late? Was she also in on it? Is she a victim? We don't know. It's still developing and they're still investigating. And even her own attorney is like, at this point, I don't know. Where I'm also investigating to see what was going on. And apparently, like, Elizabeth doesn't want to, she keeps shutting down the rumors of herself being a victim. She doesn't want to be viewed as a victim. She keeps saying the only victims are my children, is what she just keeps saying. So, I mean, she's saying the right things.
Yeah.
We don't know, but I just know what I saw in those videos and photos. And if you look at her wrists, there's bruising around her wrist to indicate constraints.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and if you, again, if you look at her, she looks very malnourished. You look at her fat husband, he's definitely not missed a meal. You look at her fat father-in-law, he hasn't missed a meal. Mother-in-law, plump as fuck. Like, they're good. Like, they're definitely eating. What the hell?
Yeah. So crazy. Like, I'm glad that he got caught for indecent exposure because...
I bet his mother is just like, you fucking idiot. You just had to keep your pants up. You just ruined it for the whole family. Fucker. It's not funny. But that's just what I do. I find humor in dark situations. But, like, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Oh, and then... the father apparently got the father-in-law, the grandfather, got his bond reduced significantly so that he could basically seek medical treatment for some, I don't know if he fell or something and he needed some kind of medical treatment. I'm like, oh, that's cute. So you need medical treatment, but all of these kids that were birthed that some of them had never even seen a doctor. And apparently how they were doing this is they would travel, they would go from like different hospitals to hospitals and like fill out new information. So the hospitals weren't tracking the fact that like, weren't you just here like a few months ago? Like, how are you having a kid or whatever? But yeah, so it's like, well, why are we giving this guy, I know it's their right and whatever, but it's like these kids were stripped of rights. I'm like, can't we just like have it be an eye for an eye? Like, this is what you did to these children, so this is what we're going to do to you. Like,
like justice, like actual justice. No, I don't know.
Maybe.
I know.
But it's just so friggin' heartbreaking. And it's like most of these kids, I mean, I feel like they're probably going to be in the system for the rest of their lives because they're not, I mean, they're literally feral. Like they're going to need there's so much psychological damage. Everything is going to be new to them. They're not used to going outside. They're not used to touching grass. They're not used to what the sunlight feels like. They don't know how to go to the bathroom. Yeah. Imagine being 15 years old and seeing a toilet for the first time and not understanding what you're supposed to do because you're used to just shitting yourself or shitting in the corner of the floor.
And you think
they don't understand what beds are or like, you know, or any kind of nurture. You probably can't even like touch them or hug them or anything because they're probably could be very prickly and not understand that it's okay. Like there's going to be, and a lot of them can't even communicate to say what's been happening to them. Yeah. And they haven't known anything else.
It reminds me of this movie. What is it called? It's like where she's like the two girls are raised by like wolves or something. But it's worse than
basically,
that. It's like worse than that because they were
I mean, wolves would have given them a better upbringing than what was happening. I feel like
I mean,
wolves
they
would have
were
taken care of these
restrained.
kids way better.
Yeah. They were restrained, so they couldn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if this were to happen in like Maine or Texas or whatever, like Dallas, like this was only able to happen because it was in a very, very, very small town where there weren't even traffic lights. Like if this was a normal area and there were a lot of neighbors and people who were really truly observing the situation, this would never have happened. So they must have been pretty strategic about that as well, for it to be allowed to happen. Because I feel like our neighbors would be so on that. They would just be so on that. It's just
I would like to think that they would have been, but it's just like you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. But when we first moved into this house, like people were bringing us food and like beverages and checking in.
I see what you're saying because you're saying they're just such a remote community that
they're so remote that like the neighbors, who knows how far apart the neighbors were. Like even the person at the grocery store who saw the kids didn't see them very often.
Yeah.
So she didn't even know, like she honestly didn't even really know if they were their kids. Like she assumed they were their kids, but she didn't see them very often. So she assumed that they didn't even live together. Like she assumed that the kids were in the system, like foster care or something. And so they just got to see their parents every once in a while because the kids were just never seen. And people assumed that the house was abandoned because the kids were strapped down. You couldn't see them.
And they were renting this house.
Yeah.
If I was that landlord, I would literally I would burn that bitch down. I wouldn't even.
Oh, for sure. You got to rebuild there.
We're just going to burn this down. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Start over.
Right. We don't need the smell or the hoarding. Like, just burn everything in it down.
One of the police officers that went in there when he was like giving his statement to like the press conference, he said that he's like, I went in there yesterday. He's like, I still can't get that smell out of my nose. Yeah. He's like, I can't forget that smell. He's like, it was awful. Yeah. It was unbearable. And like those kids were just like living in it.
I mean, I can't even imagine. I fell out of
I don't even understand where they were living because like if you see the photos, it's literally to the ceiling trash. Like legit hoarding situation of trash.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand.
No, that's disgusting. I can't imagine. I get that they were basically feral and they didn't know anything different, but I would not be able to stay there. I would be breaking out the second I could. But that's all they knew of life.
Yeah, it was horrifying.
So I can't imagine seeing my children suffer like that. And didn't she looked a lot better before she married him.
Well, that's what they're saying too. They're comparing like this was Elizabeth at just 15 and this is her today. Right. And like just night and day difference. I would never in a million years know that was the same person. And don't get me wrong, I look very different from 15, but we're not talking about you look like a child, now you look like an adult. We're talking like you literally looked healthy and put together and thriving to like you look like a zombie, like you look like a corpse.
This is on her parents too.
It is. I want to know. I mean, I want a Netflix documentary on this. I want to know what's going on.
We need one. How good would that be? Yeah.
I want to know her whole story. How did she find Gary? Why did the parents agree to her to marry at 15? Why was that necessary? What was the urgency there? Why?
Right.
Were her parents aware that she was having all these kids? Why did they ever want to go visit them? And they're the grandparents. So wouldn't you want to like go see your grandchildren? Like, were you not aware that she was literally spitting out a child a year?
Yeah. Did you just marry her off and then say good riddance? Like, so sad. It's so sad.
It's heartbreaking. It just, it kills me too. Cause it's like, you know, you think about the whole like reason for our podcast and why we're here is for women that you know, are struggling to have kids and start a family, and their hope is to like just have a child. And then you have these situations and you hear these stories, and it's like there's 16 mothers with broken hearts that would have gladly taken in every single one of those babies and cared for them as their own.
Yeah.
And like, it's just heartbreaking. I will never understand. You have the child and you don't want the child. You can't care for the child. That's your own prerogative. I don't know your situation. I'm not here to judge. But why does your child have to suffer for your own life because of your life choices? Like, give the child away. Bring the child to a fire station. Do they still do that? You know,
well,
like, bring the baby to a fire station if you feel ashamed or whatever, and you don't want to. I don't know. Like, it can be anonymous. Just like, do anything but that. Like, I don't understand. I will never understand. I don't think anybody with a brain would understand. You're not supposed to.
Yeah. I feel like this is all going to come down to Gary Jr. because it was all under his control, according to what I'm seeing. So I feel like this was all his doing as far as the control of the kids and her. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm sure we'll do some updates on it. Yeah,
I know. I've been just going down the rabbit hole, and it's just like hard too. I've had to like filter out because it's like every single true crime influencer is covering it, and so it's like they're all basically regurgitating information, and some of it is real, some of it isn't. So it's like having to filter through what the facts are, and I might even have said something that wasn't true. I don't know. I'm just saying all the things, basically collecting all the information that I've read so far on everything, true or not. It's everything that I've read. So
we're true crime buffs, but in this situation, we don't know everything because there's so many stories out there about it.
It's still developing. Like, it literally just happened. Like, we're on, what is this, July 20th? Yeah. You know, so, and the kids were just discovered not even a month ago. So it's like, it's still developing. They're still investigating it. Yeah. We have a long ways before we really get any real information.
Yeah, I bet they will make a Netflix documentary. We should probably send a suggestion to the suggestion box as well.
Is there one? Is there? We'll add it in where they're like, while you're taking down Digital Circus, can you add this? Thanks.
Yeah, we need it. Once all is said and done and everything's ready, we need to know what the background is. 16 kids.
16.
Hopefully the babies don't have as hard of a time. I know that they
have more of a shot because they'd be so young that hopefully they won't remember a lot of it.
Hopefully they can absorb like the kindness.
But what's hard is like, think about like when our babies are born, the whole first few weeks of that skin to skin and having that love and that affection and that touch, like they weren't getting that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're not going to be a normal baby. They're also not used to that type of care, too.
Well, I'm hungry for dinner. Despite what we just talked about, I'm hungry for dinner. I don't know what we're having. Mike is surprising me with dinner. I don't know what we're having.
Given our whole conversation this episode was Mountainside diarrhea, Hobby Lobby and HomeGoods diarrhea.
Yeah.
Cold
brew. You know what's crazy is that we haven't gotten the parasite, but yet we've been eating the vegetables and the fruit.
I don't need a parasite to have diarrhea.
I need a parasite. No, not to be hungry, to lose the last 10 pounds that I need to lose. That's what I need.
Yeah, just go buy yourself some bags of lettuce.
Okay.
And just eat it. Eat all of it.
Yeah, like I don't know what we're having for dinner tonight, but do you mind picking up some lettuce to go with it?
You pick up 7 bags of lettuce, please.
We're gonna play Russian roulette with
like check the dates and make sure it's from like last week.
Yeah, please.
Please, thank you.
Don't leave any stone unturned because I need that bag of lettuce, please.
Yeah. But you're just over here thinking like, wow, all this diarrhea talk and laying and fecal matter, you know that what makes me feel right now? Hunger.
I need dinner.
I'm ready for dinner after this conversation. Absolutely.
No. What's on my plate?
Well, before we wrap this up, we do want to share something. So one of our dear friends, Nicole Burke, who we actually read her Hope episode, and we plan to have her on the podcast soon now that she's had her miracle baby, and so that way she can give us an update on life and all the fun things. She has an Arbonne partnership, and so she gave us some samples to try, and Sonia and I are loving what is it? It's the energy fizz.
The fizz sticks. So she gave us the mango peach, which I really liked, and then she gave us the blood orange, which is delicious. So, but I put a packet in my big 40-ounce cup because I don't normally have a lot of flavor. I normally do like a sparkling water. But if you put one of the fizz sticks in your Stanley with water and a bunch of ice, it's delicious.
Yeah,
so
I didn't know that's like okay, so I was horrible. I basically didn't even read the ingredients. I didn't even read what it was supposed to do. I was just like, I'll give this a try. So I went into it really blindly. I just thought I saw fizz energy or whatever it said, and I was like, oh, it's gonna give me a little boost. Perfect, love that. When I say that I felt focused, I felt more chatty. I felt almost, I don't want to say confident. I think I was just more focused in what I was talking about. It puts you in a good mood.
It definitely gives you energy, and I need all the focus I can get. So
it was a mood boost. It was an energy boost. There was focus. And then when I was looking into it, I was like, oh wait, that's all part of it. It does that. So definitely sold on those for sure.
Yeah. So we'll leave the information for Nicole in our description for this week's episode.
Yeah. So thank you, Nicole. I guess we'll just wrap this bitch up. So until next week, mamas.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to tune in next week. Your support is keeping the podcast going. You can help by following, subscribing, rating, reviewing, and especially by telling a friend to listen anywhere or watch on YouTube.
For more info, you can check out our website at geriatricmamas.com. You can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at geriatric_mamas, on YouTube at Geriatric Mamas, X at Geriatric Mamas, and follow our group page on Facebook, Geriatric Mamas.
If you have a topic idea you'd like us to discuss, are interested in being a guest, or simply have a funny geriatric story to tell, you can go to geriatricmamas.com and hit be a guest or send us your story.